You could look at this and assume it's right, but actually what it should be asking you is things like, what's your goal with this meal plan? What's your budget, potentially, because we're in a cost of living crisis right now. It might be asking mental health. Can you go to a shop? Can you go to a supermarket? Do you enjoy cooking? Because you might hate cooking. I'm Rhiannon. I'm a qualified personal trainer. I have autism and ADHD, and I support neurodivergent or anxious people get started on their own health and fitness journey. In this episode of AI versus not so typical, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write me a 3-day meal plan. We're not going to tell ChatGPT that I do strength train. We're just going to say, I'm vegetarian, I want a 3-day meal plan, no eggs, around 1,800 calories. Make me a 3-day vegetarian meal plan. No eggs. 1,800 calories. Go. So I do use ChatGPT a lot for various things that I do within my job. If I'm using a logged out or free version, this knows nothing about me. Let's see what it says. So here is a 3-day vegetarian meal plan with no eggs, very important for me, with about 1,800 calories a day, balanced across breakfast, lunch and dinner and snacks. It includes plant-based protein, fibre and healthy fats to keep you full and energised. Love it. So I basically just said, make me a meal plan. I've told it how many calories roughly, but those calories could be my maintenance calories. Those calories it could be for me to gain weight. Those calories it could be for me to lose weight. It hasn't asked. It doesn't know. Now the reason I say this is because protein, 60 to 80 grams, that's not that much protein if you are strength training. If you're strength training, you need protein because muscles are built from protein. And so if you're strength training, eating in a calorie deficit and you're not getting enough protein within your meals, your balanced approach to nutrition, then what will happen is you won't lose fat, you will lose muscle condition. When muscles grow, they need protein. Muscles need protein. Protein helps with recovery. Protein is fundamental, really, when you are strength training. So I'm surprised at what it's given here. Notice it hasn't asked for any extra information. You could look at this and assume it's right, but actually what it should be asking you is things like, what's your goal with this meal plan? What's your budget, potentially, because we're in a cost of living crisis right now. It might be asking mental health. Can you go to a shop? Can you go to a supermarket? Do you enjoy cooking? Because you might hate cooking. Importantly, it hasn't asked if you are exercising. If you have a very active life, are you a childminder running around after toddlers for 5 days a week? Or are you sitting at a desk, tapping away on a keyboard? It doesn't know enough, really, to be able to give you anything other than what it's made you, which is a meal plan for 3 days for a vegetarian with no eggs and a certain amount of calories. But this isn't going to be the best meal plan for everyone. It will be for some people. Of course it will. It has to be. There will be some people where this will be great for them, but not me, not my clients. And I just want people to see that ChatGPT can be great, but it needs to be treated with care. Okay, so anyway, just back to the protein for a sec. I was aiming for a minimum of 100 grams of protein, and that was before I was strength training. So the fact it says 60 to 80 is interesting, but hey ho, it's fine. There are different makeups. Calories are calories at the end of the day. They're all the same. Some people will say calories are not made the same. Well, they are. A calorie is a calorie. But the amount of calories in different things is different. So protein has less calories in than fats and carbs. Changing the makeup of your macros, so your protein, carbs, fats, is going to make a difference. Okay, so breakfast, first of all. Oatmeal with berries and almond butter. Fancy for me. Anyway, I'm a bowl of Weetabix kind of girl. And maybe a croissant, to be honest. So this is saying rolled oats cooked with 1 cup of almond milk, half a banana sliced, great. Mixed berries, great. 1 tablespoon of almond butter and 1 teaspoon of chia seeds. So yeah, fine. No, it's a decent breakfast. I'm shrugging it off because it feels like effort to me, but a lot of people will eat this sort of oatmeal porridge, overnight oats you could do with this as well, and they love it. So yeah, fine. Lunch. So we've got chickpea avocado salad wraps, 1 cup of mashed chickpeas, so kind of like a hummus but not quite hummus, half an avocado, 1 tablespoon of tahini, lettuce, tomato, cucumber, 2 whole wheat tortillas or wraps. Yeah, that's decent. Assuming that you like avocado and tahini, salad, assuming that you like the texture of all those things. Dinner, okay, 700 calories. This is the biggest meal. Lentil and sweet potato curry. So we've got 1 cup of cooked lentils, 1 cup of cubed sweet potatoes, coconut milk, curry spices, doesn't say which ones, spinach, and 3/4 a cup of brown rice. Yeah, again, good meal, fine. Again, requiring you to cook or make stuff. Although what you could do is you could batch this meal, potentially, and you could get your 3 portions. So it'd be interesting to see if day 2 and 3 also have that meal in there. Snack, it's saying 1 apple and 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. Okay, let's have a look at day 2. Okay, oh, I do have this as a breakfast. So, tofu scramble with toast. I'll just say tofu scramble is really good. If you haven't tried it, let me know and I'll send you a recipe because it is good. It's quite quick and you can make multiple portions and heat it up, and it heats up really well. So it's saying some crumbled tofu sauteed with turmeric, spinach, peppers and onion. Yeah, so I do similar. 1 slice of whole grain toast, okay? And a small orange. I hope that it doesn't want you to put the orange with the tofu. That would be a bit weird. We'll assume that it means the orange on the side, hopefully. Okay, lunch. So quinoa and a black bean bowl. Lovely. Cooked quinoa, half a cup of black beans, roasted corn. I'm going to assume roasted corn is sweet corn in the UK. Don't really know. Red cabbage, lime juice, avocado again. So let's hope we like avocado. Cilantro, which I think is coriander. And salsa or tahini drizzle. Dinner. Again, the biggest meal of the day. Whole wheat pasta, pesto and roasted veggies. So we've got 1.5 cups of cooked pasta, homemade pesto, basil, olive oil, pine nuts, garlic, nutritional yeast, nooch, some people call it. And it's got roasted zucchini. This is so American. So roasted courgette, cherry tomatoes and pepper. And then for a snack, it's saying have some hummus and raw veggie sticks. Think carrots, cucumber, pepper. Okay, let's have a look. Day 3. Chia pudding with banana and walnuts. Could be nice, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. Lunch, grilled tempeh Buddha bowl. So it's saying tempeh, which I believe is it fermented soybean. Cooked brown rice, steamed kale, spinach, grated carrots, cucumber, tahini lemon dressing. Dinner, a whole meal again to be cooked. So we've got kidney beans, black beans. It's a vegetarian chili, by the way. Tomatoes, onions, peppers, corn, spices, served with 1 small baked potato. Snack, 1 small dark chocolate square and 10 almonds. Grocery items. This is just for 3 days, assuming that you're starting from scratch here. So you might have some of these stuff already in, but ChatGPT doesn't know that. So it's now created a plan for you to go to the supermarket and buy all these things. It has done what I've asked it to do. So I asked it to write me a 3-day meal plan for a vegetarian with no eggs at around 1,800 calories each day. And yes, it has done that. But it's assuming a lot here. First of all, it's assuming that you can just go and buy all these items if you don't have them. Now, some of these, so tofu is getting more popular or more visible in shops. Tempeh, I would still probably only be able to buy that in 2 of the 6 big supermarkets around me. And I live in a city. So if you live on the outskirts of town or you don't drive and you don't leave the house for whatever reason and you rely on delivery from certain supermarkets, you might struggle to get items on this list. Things like tahini as well, you may struggle with. They're also expensive. Tahini's expensive. Avocados aren't cheap. Nuts aren't cheap. And so it's assuming that you have access to all of these things. But importantly as well, it's assuming that you want to cook, can cook. It's not telling you how to cook things either. It's not telling you, so your snack, they say approximate, so to be fair, that's okay, but 1 apple. I know some apples that are like this, and I know some apples that are like this. And they're going to vary massively in calories. It doesn't talk about a weight. And yeah, it might do if we asked it to give that macro breakdown, but we didn't. We just wanted a meal plan. It doesn't know I might be allergic to nuts. Now, if you are, I would assume that you'd put that in. So no eggs, allergic to nuts, and see what it would give you. But it's assuming no allergies, no intolerances. But it's assuming that you have the energy to cook all these meals. So I, as someone who struggles to cook, what I would do if I had this plan is I would try and batch things. Now, I don't meal prep. It's hard for me because I get the ick. But I can do for 2 or 3 days max. Vegetarian chili here on day 3. I would substitute that in for day 1 for dinner. I'd make 3 portions. Then what I would do for day 2, where it says whole wheat pasta with pesto and roasted veggies, which sounds like a lot of effort and would probably have me phoning for a takeaway, I would then substitute in the pesto and roasted veggies for a portion of my veggie chili and have like a pasta chili dish, maybe sprinkle a bit of cheese on top. Then for the 3rd day, again, so this is the meal it's saying to have here, isn't it? It's saying 1 small baked potato, great, with your vegetarian chili, so I would do that. And on that first day, what I would do is have, instead of having the lentil and sweet potato curry, I would have the rice with the chili. So what you'd be able to do there is make 3 meals, almost in one. Yes, you might have to make your baked potato, you might have to make your pasta, but in terms of the sauce aspect, that the bit that takes the time, the flavourful bit, you've done it once, not 3 times. So sometimes we need to look at a plan like this that on paper, in principle, is great, but it assumes a lot of things. And then we can tweak it to make it work. So have you ever used ChatGPT to make you a meal plan or any other AI? So there's Claude, there's Gemini, there's loads. If you have, how did you find it? Did you stick to it? Did you change it up? Did you look at it and think, I'm not doing that, and just never look at it again? Let me know in the comments. Now stay tuned for next episode. So that'll be episode number 3, where I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me a stress-busting routine. A stress-busting routine. Say that quickly. So I'm going to ask it to help me become less stressed at home, because if you follow me, you'll know I believe mental health has an impact on everything, including health and fitness. Fitness is not just about what you weigh. It is about finding strength in who you are. So come back in 2 weeks' time for episode 3 of AI versus Not So Typical. And let's get into our stress-busting, routine-making AI chaos. See you later.